Boom! Hello. Welcome back. So, in that breath of relief when the fight starts, but at least those two with some questions of that, and I mean, immediately you can hear the people inside and just asking sort of like, what was that? What was going on? And some of the people who speak giant are sort of trying to like explain. You see more, like you see a group of the Baron's guards sort of run up. They actually have like twigs and things stuck in their armor. They clearly were fighting on the other side of the courtyard, or probably more near the gate where you entered, which is actually very far away from where you are right now, because it's a very big estate. She's like, my lady, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. What the hell happened?
I assume she's talking to her guard.
Yeah, she kind of like yells out loud, but the guards like don't know either. So there is a pause.
While this conversation's
So
going
we just kind
on,
of look at the guard, they look at us.
Yeah.
I was gonna turn to Tobias actually before you were doing anything and just say, should we mention the really large?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say before we even go back inside, like I'm just gonna stay out by the hedges and stare for a minute, just like confused, like what the frig was that about? Can I actually make a survival check on these guys to see if I can glean anything from what just happened? Do they seem natural? I mean, obviously
that's more a nature check.
Okay, I'm bad at that, but I'll still give it a go.
I know is the thing. I was trying to think of how to allow it as a survival check, but
oh, sure.
This is very strange. It's almost like a very powerful nature magic created these creatures or something. Mm-hmm. You've heard of them before, you never encountered things like this. They aren't like natural dryads or ents or anything. It seems like magic created them, and maybe that guy created the magic.
Yeah. And
all left.
Eventually come in where everyone else is talking and just say, I guess, to the group, like, I'll explain what happened with my hunter's mark situation. Just like, I am kind of new at this whole thing, but I tried to focus my magic on this giant that we saw out there. And it worked on all the other creatures, but for some reason it didn't work on him.
She kind of like turns and gives you like a very tired look and goes, how much is a contract on that giant?
We'd have to speak with Hurl Giant about that.
No matter what it is, I'll match it, and you bring me back his head.
As you wish.
I mean, he invaded your home, so that I feel that he's got it coming. Personally.
Aye, and it's due to your actions here that no one was hurt, so you did well.
Berwood's gonna bow and not say a word, but give her kind of a knowing look.
She kind of excuses herself, probably like slightly shoulder barging Eleanor on the way out, because I just imagine she was kind of in the door. And kind of goes to talk to the people inside and stuff like that.
You know, as she passes me, I will put a hand on her shoulder and just say, we will handle this. You have no reason to fear.
You bloody well will. Keep going.
That thing, that giant, may not be quite as giant as the 20 feet that it appeared to be. Seemed to grow from a smaller size, though I don't know exactly how small. And Tobias, you can, I assume, back me up on this. You were there. It appeared to almost come out of the nature there.
Yeah. You don't suppose it was some kind of illusion or something, was it?
Could be. I mean, you said you couldn't focus your magic on it. I don't know exactly how illusions work. That's not really my forte as far as magics go. Is there... I mean, it could be something. I think we should maybe speak with Kindle about that. She might have more knowledge about that kind of thing. If we're... Well, if we're going to be hunting something that can create this kind of terror, I don't know that we're prepared for that. Not yet, anyways.
Oh,
What was all that
nonsense.
about the land being cursed?
Soil tainted. Tainted was the word he used. I think that's how it translates. It's hard. It's always hard going from giant into common. It's a very, very different languages. Tainted. I don't know, and I'm not really sure how to interpret it, but we found the Ring of Haldoon to be not dwarven. We've found it to be perhaps more primordial. Standing hypothesis, anyways. And we do know that the giants have some connections with primordials. If this creature, whether a giant or not, has sympathies towards the giants, perhaps that's what they mean, is that it is giant's land, but I don't know why that would be tainted then. Many, many things to think. But regardless, I think we should make sure everyone here is safe and comfortable. I'm sure the guards are doing a good job of that, but it would be good for relations for the Grey Fists to do that as well.
This is probably when you turn and realize Virik isn't here.
So Virik would have been inside, and as he's going to get his boomerang, he would be looking around the floor to see if there's anything anyone's dropped in the panic, anything that might be of
Give
value.
me a sleight of hand
around.
check.
Nice.
I mean, aside from a lot of food, there is actually like some. You actually find a gold pouch on the ground that's gonna have. I should roll for it. It's going to have 7 gold in it, which is actually quite a lot for like just a random.
Oh yeah. He's gonna pocket that quickly and then walk outside. So it'd be like, as you realize he's not there, he's gonna walk out like, oh hey,
Boomerang.
yeah, I got it.
Lost it in the scuffle, did you?
Something like that. Also, did you guys see? She made one of those things fucking explode.
Oh, is that what that noise was?
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. It's quite loud.
As he like picks bits of twigs off him, like.
And Burrow's gonna be, oh, right. And he's gonna look at his shield and start pulling the needles in his shield.
Brood is bleeding from the neck,
Oh yeah. I'm not in good shape right now.
but he's entirely on nerd adrenaline.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? What did they do? And what's their culture that makes them hate this culture? Do they hate the culture? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they just don't like this castle. Maybe they're more like Tobias and think it's an unnecessary building. There's so
Derek
many.
would also ask, what the hell was that voice? Because he doesn't know giant. So
It's just a loud, slow, booming voice. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, what the hell was that?
It was giant, and the creature speaking it was giant, but may not have been a giant.
You look kind of like a tree. Like a giant tree.
Feel free to give me history checks.
If it's a
It's
history
annoying
check, I'm not
if
even-
in 5-point Ollie I might add a straight up knowledge skill because I'm just annoyed there isn't one. There should be one.
yeah, I'm not
History
even
doesn't
gonna-
apply to things like this, but it's really the best thing ability. Yeah, Varric, you can't
Oh,
really
okay.
get away
Well,
with
do you want
this.
me to make one anyway? 'Cause
No,
I-
you
I was-
no.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Like, I would have no clue.
Anlo and Brute. Brute because you are studying and you're reading. Alnor because you are from actually further away than here. You've actually passed a place called Jotunskoga, the old giant's forest. It is rumored that a race similar to the Borvar, called the Planavar, live there, who are the remnants of the old forest giants, who have sort of devolved into smaller forms. They are not xenophobic, they're isolationist. You've never seen one before. You just know that they exist. They exist in that forest. They keep it... You don't go in that forest. You go around it. They will probably kill you if you go in, that creature looked like a planavar to you. Also known as a furbolg.
How far north is that forest?
If you look at the map, there's a... So, on the actual current version of the map, Slate Cove is a little more north than I want it to be. This map here, this like sort of forest that kind of comes down from Oakenfur is Jotunskoga. I actually have a new map that I haven't finished yet, which has a whole lot more settlements in the north. A whole lot more. Because this campaign's centered in the north, so they're cropping up.
I mean, that's not terribly far away.
Well, if this is a planovar, then there's a chance that, well, there's a chance we'll have to travel somewhere that's not exactly hospitable.
Oh, also, people who speak giant, planavar directly translates to forest giant. Just like Borovar translates to brother of giants.
I'd be using the scientific terminology.
Does everyone know giant but Virik?
Yes.
Because that's great.
Because there's Borovar in this town
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
That's great. I love that.
Well, let's maybe help them out here, make sure everyone's okay, and then head back as soon as we can.
It's going to take a little bit of time doing crisis management. A lot of people are shaken, but the thing is, these are Northmen. A lot of people were just shocked because that fight took all of like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And some of them are maybe like, oh, I wish I could have fought alongside you and stuff like that. Just it was so fast, they totally weren't prepared for it. Whereas you are like actual warriors who could totally whip into it. A lot of people here, even the noblemen, have like an axe on their side and stuff like that. So there's kind of a little embarrassment in the thing, but then there's also people who are in shock. You can't find the baroness when you look around.
Can I find one of the guards?
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Okay. I'd go and talk to one of the guards quickly and just thank them for doing all they can to keep everybody here safe.
Thank you too. You did a good job.
I'm just
That'll
gonna
be all.
outstretch a hand to shake a hand.
Yeah, he'll like put down his like axe.
Yeah.
And shake your hand.
Yeah. And it's just a firm single grasp, single shake, and then do you need any more help with
No.
the people around here?
No.
Well, then we're going to, I think, head back to Kazimgar and speak with Hurl Giant so we can get started on the Baroness's request.
Just before you do that, I think Virik's actually... Was there a tree out in that yard, or...?
There are trees and things in the garden, and the courtyard is much larger than that, like especially off to the side, and because this is kind of like a wing of the building off the edge.
Then Virik's going to say, just give me a second, and he's going to climb up a tree as high as he can, and he's going to use the dark vision that he has to try and see if he can see any signs of anything out of the ordinary in the immediate area.
An immediate area, give me a perception check.
Yeah, so like just seeing if there's any sort of like remnants of whatever happened and all of that.
Actually, kind of you as a drow have much longer dark vision. I mean, this is a very large area, but you get you maybe with the suggestion of people climb a tree near that northern side of the building where the planavar was. You actually see an area where it looks like all the hedges and plants are still overgrown and twisted and brambled and spiky, and then you kind of can see it looks like brambles are sort of have come from a point, like a central point that sort of expands outward in a cone on the ground, like 100 feet or so away from the hedge.
Okay.
On a slightly raised point in the kind of like rocks and plants in the sort of outer of the estate. It looks like, if you were to guess, that's where like he cast this spell.
Yeah. Hey, Brute, I found something, and instead of climbing down the tree, I'm just gonna jump out and then start running over to where it was.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where you have
I'll wave to him as I go.
you go to run over to where it was. You go to the gate of the building. It's completely overgrown with these brambles,
Oh,
and they're like 10 feet tall.
short
Are
sword.
they thick?
Yeah, they're thick, but if you guys get your weapons out and start hacking through it, you get through it in like 5 minutes.
I think we'll do that then.
Just
Is
a concerted
everyone on board to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would explain why I'm calling them over. I saw, like, I think the point where all this came from. Through that. We got to go through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth investigating.
Start chopping.
So
You chop. He leads you around to this point, and it's exactly what you guys with dark vision see. You humans can't see anything.
Sorry. And then I'm going to go and do, like, dancing lights. Much more gracefully than he has before.
Yes,
Like,
little dancing
before
lights
it
light the
was
scene
more-
in blue, and it's literally what you see. It looks like a point where someone knocked down a staff, and just plants started growing outward towards the manor from there.
Are there footsteps? Like
Survival
anything
roll.
I might actually direct that to Tobias and say, "Would you mind looking around?" for
Survival
footsteps?"
roll with advantage.
We'll take a look. At
You're looking around. Unfortunately, this is kind of rocky, craggy terrain. And unfortunately, there's not even like a good snowfall here, so you don't see footsteps. You're not even sure what size you're looking for. It's kind of a hard look.
I think we probably would have noticed a very, very large creature's footsteps. So I think probably you're right, Tobias. It might not have been actually a very large creature. Maybe it was a projection. Maybe it was, there are any number of possibilities. I want to look at the size of, because you said it looks like a staff was smacked
The
down.
staff looked like a quarterstaff, a
Standard size,
medium-sized creature would use.
Okay. I think it's a creature that maybe made itself seem larger than it was. We may not be hunting a giant.
You know, Planivar are medium-sized as well. They're like Morvar, where they're big, they're medium-sized.
But they wouldn't have been 20 feet tall.
No.
No.
Even by your reckoning, a forest giant wouldn't have been. Like, the old forest giants wouldn't have been 20 feet tall.
But I mean, I don't necessarily put that much stock in what the books have told me about it.
Yeah, true.
It's one of those things where it's like, I have no idea until I see it. I have no clue. So, based on what I don't think this creature is as large as it made itself look. That's all we can determine from this. So, unless we're able to see where anything's going, I think we need to head back to Chasmguard.
I agree.
Variable?
All right. You start heading back. When you do, it's pretty late. If you want to grab anyone's attention, you're going to have to find them. But, I mean, there's a Guildmaster's Chambers where Hull Giant usually is. And Kinley has her room as well.
We can leave them a note to find in the morning.
Yeah.
And go to bed.
Always leave a note.
Rest
Yeah, awesome. You like, what is the note?
We have come back to the castle. The baroness was attacked by these creatures, and she has contracted us to track them in the morning.
And we're going to note that she is specifically looking for us to hunt the giant.
Yes.
Cool.
That might not be a giant.
Leave that
We
note.
don't word it
Just
that way.
say giant.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like giant crossed out, and then giant.
Yeah. No, if he crossed out the giant, Varric would actually go and write giant again.
Yeah. It's just the best descriptor. And you go and go to your rooms and sleep. And Laura has her own room with her retainer. You rest up. Barut taking time to clean and tend to the wound on his neck, and maybe over time sort of use healing magic on it. And probably read up on giants from his
As
pile
much
of
as I
books.
possibly can.
Great. So
Now, could I say once he's finished his trance, he'll notice that Varric is trancing like he does, sort of sitting up on the bed, trying to look like it's almost the exact same position, trying to match
Emulate.
yeah,
it. Yeah.
for sure.
Certainly not going to interrupt.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm done my trance, I actually was going to go back out and sit by the note. Because I assume we just left it
Yeah.
tacked on the door or something. Like it's
It's-
sitting there.
yeah.
But I'm actually going to be sitting there reading. And I'm just going to spend the rest of the night reading, sitting.
It's
kinda near
around
the
like
note.
5 in the morning while Hurl Giant barges in. Like, ah, what are you doing? Sitting up.
Did you happen to see our note before? I'm assuming not. It's right there. Never mind.
No, I was outside.
Oh. Well,
I don't have eyes that can see through walls. I am a man of many feats and many talents, but I cannot see through walls. Naruto.
well, perhaps one day. No, were you aware of or have you heard of the attack that happened at the feast this evening?
No, I was nowhere near the feast. I was on the other side of town. There was an attack.
Can I roll an insight on him?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know him that well.
You
That's the problem.
can now roll a perception.
Okay. Oh, god damn it.
Ooh.
Tell me everything.
Well, we were out in let me start from the beginning. We went to the feast. The baroness spoke with us, saying that she was glad we came. Obviously, you know, the relationship that she has with the Grey Fist, so it wasn't necessarily as
Troubling
clear.
to say the least. Yes.
Yeah, I went out to the garden after I noticed that she hadn't. That she went out there on her own, and I decided to go and have a word with her to try and help the situation with the relationship. It actually went, I think, quite well. But when we were out there, creatures started to climb in from the bramble. They appeared to be made of twigs, they were plants. They were plant creatures that seemed to come out of nothing. We finished them off, but there was a giant, potentially a giant. What we came to the decision on was that
forest
it's
giant.
Yes.
Well,
And it was still out of place, but it seemed 20 feet tall, which from my readings, that's not how tall they are. It might have been using some kind of illusory magic to...
some of their kind can use illusions to make themselves look far bigger and scare people away.
That might have been what it was doing.
Planivar are not like my kind. They fight as the last resort. They use magic and tricks first.
When Tobias attempted to focus on it, it was almost as though it blocked him, and it was his magic that he blocked. Are you familiar with their magics at all?
I've met a few. None on this continent, though. I come from Mother's Horn, where they have their own forests. I've never been to Jotunskugga, where I know that's where they roost. But it's nature magic. I was going to ask about these creatures if they were glowing. If they were glowing, then they were Fey. If not, then they were most likely Jotuncraft.
They were not glowing. At least, not to the best of my knowledge. I think I
You
would've
would
noticed.
notice it if it
I
was
think I would have
Fey.
noticed that.
The Fey are obvious.
So, the Baroness has asked us to hunt. To hunt.
As
Planet.
makes sense.
She asked the price on a contract like that, and I didn't have an answer for her. Surprising, I know, but we felt it best to come back and ask you.
Let us go to the map room. And actually goes and shows you to a room you've never been in before. Yes, Kindley has a map, but he shows you to a room on the upper floor where there is a table that has a sort of sand on it. And the sand sort of formulates the land mass of Jarviskjir. There's actually these sort of slightly floating dots of sand. Some of them in the rest of the north, most of them where Slate Cove is. You immediately, with your magical knowledge, figure out that's where the ley stones are.
Yeah.
And this is actually a thing that Elena has her own ley stone as well. I totally forgot to tell you, and of course you do. And he kind of like motions to where Slate Cove is and where Jotunskogr is and goes, "It's quite a trek, probably be a few days, and then you have to hunt a creature in its own forest, and this contract is not going to be against any old Planavar. You want the one that did this. So, going to be a hefty investment. But it's for Slate Cove, so I'm not going to charge them through the teeth. How about 800 gold?"
I'm sure that she'd be fine to match that, given that our relationship has not been the best with her. I might recommend that we lower that slightly. Not hugely, but even understanding that it would take a cut from my cohorts and myself, but I'd be willing to take a smaller cut and allow them to get the full amount that they would get from the 800 in order to make them a little bit
lose your
more
cut completely?
if need be.
What's going to be the percentage of that? It loses 20%, then it goes 4 ways.
So 800 minus 20% is, what is that? Because it would be 160 off of that. So then that puts us at 640.
640. Split 4 ways. 320.
So
160 each.
160 each.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to lose the entire amount.
Okay. Fair. So he'll agree and actually write up that contract. And kind of like look at you with Hull Giant has this like hero bravado. And you don't know, maybe it's because you caught him in the middle of the night, maybe because it's giants, who knows. But he kind of looks at you in a very genuine way and says, "It's a good thing what you're doing." Kind of shows you the contract and then actually starts putting it into a note. This will be delivered to a manor in the morning. It's up to you if you want to head out before or after, but kind of looking at your necks, like, probably need a little more sleep. Oh, I'm sorry. Elves don't sleep. I forget. I love sleep.
Well,
I need some.
I should allow you to do that then. Thank you very much for your time, and sleep well.
He actually goes to his quarters, which are off of this room, and you hear the door locking behind him.
Yeah. If he's not kicking me out of this room, I'm going to inspect the map a little bit more, and I'm actually going to make notes in my notebook of the paths that I can see on the map that run through there as much as I can, and basically I'm building a map for the area of the north between essentially Slate Cove and the forest that we will be going.
It's not a very far amount, and you figure you can actually kind of figure, like, if you went the way you went to that hill and kept going, you would get there. But of course, you wouldn't go that way because you want to go around the hill. But it's sort of that same route of like for the start of just snowy wastes.
Essentially, the idea is just that I want to create as good of a map as I can to pass to Tobias.
Yeah, exactly. And you do, you know.
Yeah. Good.
Everyone else wakes up.
Go and read.
Yep. Everyone else wakes up. Come morning. That link you sent me, Will, is still up. I was looking for a tab to turn into the weather generator, and there it is.
This was not that.
So rude. When you wake up, it's one of those things where there's a steady, constant wind, and actually, because considering your rooms don't have glass in their little windows, it blows into the room, but it's not incredibly unpleasant. I mean, might even be a little nice to have a little chill wind come in. Not when you're waking up, actually, now that I think about it. But, you know, when you're awake, doing your morning stretches and stuff, it's good. At some point, Eleanor, you tell your retainer that, like, you're probably heading out, and they double prepare your equipment and such. You can probably all gather come the morning.
Excellent.
Okay. Are we heading out right away, or do I have time to check on something in town first?
It's up to us when we leave. Hurl Giant prepared the contract, and it's been sent off to the Baroness's castle.
Good.
I spoke with him last night. He came in very late. I was actually expecting him to be sleeping, but he was not. I didn't really get where he was or before, but he was across town, apparently. At least that's what he told me. I don't know. He gave me information on the Planivar and said that some will use magic to try and appear more intimidating. They use fighting as a last resort. This one appears to have used magic to cause some fighting, but I think it was more for intimidation.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I could meet you guys at the edge of town. I'm not actually buying anything. I'm just inquiring about something. So I can be quick.
That's fine. You can do that.
Okay. Which entrance are we leaving? Like, where are we leaving town from? I'll meet you guys there.
Pretty much the
Just
same
move
place
on.
you left for the goblins.
Why don't we meet at that tavern that we celebrated with Corpse Flower?
I like that
We'll
idea.
just
That sounds like a
plan there.
great plan.
While we wait-
And you guys can get breakfast there.
Yeah, we'll go in. We'll go in. We'll grab a meal, and then we'll meet you there.
Order something for me. I'll pay you back.
And
And then that Varric's just gonna walk off very quickly.
As we are walking to the tavern, I'm just gonna tell everyone, and I will have told Virik as well, just as he's leaving. Your shares will be 160 gold,
Ooh, good to know.
and
loads of money.
Yeah,
And finally
that's
get
a
some
lot of money.
studs in my leather.
it'll be.
Finally afford a stud.
I'm sure that's not quite as much for you, Eleanor, but I hope it's sufficient.
It's welcome. Thank you.
And I'm sure you'll all put it to good use. And Berwick's gonna look kind of a little sad because he knows that he gave up his share, but it's fine. It was just gonna be research money. It's fine.
So for all of your food when you go to the tavern, it's going to be 4 silver to get the food for everyone. But first
Much
of
is in
all,
a gold?
10 copper is 1 silver.
That's
10
right.
silver
Okay,
is
cool.
1 gold.
I will
10
actually
gold
just
is
pay
one.
for everyone's.
Yeah,
bread.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Virik,
Yeah.
I assume you're going off to
Yes.
try and find that gnome.
That is exactly what I'm trying to do.
It's one of those things
So-
where you actually realize you've seen a gnome with a cart of weird equipment before. And when you head into
okay.
town, you head into the market, and you see humans and one gnome setting up his cart. And as he's setting it up, it's exactly as she said, like a lot of weird trinkets and strange-looking weaponry and things. And he actually, I imagine you sort of stand there trying to figure out, like, is this the person we're looking for a bit? And then he kind of notices you looking, and you know, rock gnomes are sort of 4 to 3 foot creatures with like big ears and big eyes. Like they have very like over-exaggerated faces. And he just kind of like looks at you, looking at him, like, what's with the mask?
Oh, it's complicated. Is it Gatnoff? Gatneff?
Gapnov. Yeah.
Gatnoff. Okay. Hi. Realizing the situation, if he asks this question, he's like, how do you feel about the different types of elves? Because he's realizing if he's going to ask something, it's going to come off interestingly.
I'll tell you what every rock gnome in the world will say. The only one I want to kill is the Arvorai. I see one of them, I'm shooting it.
Do I know what that is?
You can give me a history check.
Oh no!
You have no idea what he said, but I at the end of something is usually how elves dictate types of elves. So it sounds like a type of elf, but you just never heard of.
Okay. Hearing that, I have no idea if that's like a name for drow or not, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay. The mask is to, I have burns on my face. Actually, speaking of...
Oh, so you're an ugly fuck. Okay, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
one of the
I am
injuries-
too. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. So one of the injuries actually makes my eyes a bit more sensitive to light, and I was wondering if I could commission something to make it easier for me to sort of block out the blinding snow, that sort of thing.
Ah,
Do I need to roll deception?
no.
Okay, cool.
Deception's really if you're trying to like gain a lot from it. This is
Okay, cool.
truthful enough. And you're trying to buy from a dude who maybe doesn't care. You
Yeah,
don't
I guess
know.
as much.
And this gnome, he kind of like scratches at his mostly balding head and looks at you like, I mean, I think I can do that. You look like a traveling individual.
I do get around a bit, yeah?
You go out of town sometimes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what. To make goggles that'll protect your eyes from the snow and the glare, I'm gonna need smoke glass. I don't have any on hand. You go get me that. I can make it for around 50 gold.
What is smoke glass and where would I find it?
It's a kind of like naturally forming glass-like substance that is smoky. It's dark. You cover your eyes with it. It makes it hurt less. A lot of us gnomes actually use it, for welding and things. We got big sensitive eyes. Which is why I'm glad you have that mask on, because Jesus, if you're actually ugly enough to wear a mask, I'm gonna be. I mean, I didn't say Jesus, of course, because I don't know
Yeah.
what that is, but you know what I mean. It can be found in like this whole area is like full of rocks and weird. If you find like a, in the forest, in the undergrowth, it just kind of comes up from the ground somewhere. I just can't be. I don't have a good connection that can solidly collect something like that. Just like a good hunk of it or two,
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much. And I'm sure I'll be back. And
Sure you
Virik,
will.
by the way. And I'll bow and leave.
And you end up rejoining him at the tavern. Have a nice, warm breakfast of nice fresh bread and cheese. Goat's cheese.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, it's like, cheese good, goat cheese better. Goat cheese is often one of those foods where like I get so excited for it, I get disappointed about it.
Aw.
Yeah, like I understand that.
Yeah.
At the tavern, I would actually ask Barut what was the name? I've forgotten it already because I'm dumb and didn't write it down. The name for the elf type he didn't like.
Alvarai.
Alvarai. I would ask what are the Alvarai?
Perut, give me a religion check. You don't know either, which is what I was kind of expecting.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That's I mean it's an interesting name, but I'm not familiar with it. But I will Brute will make a note of it and will make a note to ask somebody at some point. Because
And then
yeah.
almost there's just like the whole one person leaning over to him and then going, okay. Toby, do you know what smoke glass is?
You would. You'd
I
like
would,
that would be like something you would pick up in the forest around your house and take home and put on the side or something. It's pretty.
Gotcha.
It's pretty but kind of mostly useless.
Right, like pyrite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would convey that. Basically just yeah, that's tons of stuff around. What do you need smoke
awesome.
glass for?
Oh, I just need a couple chunks to make into goggles, so I don't keep missing with the boomerang and day.
Oh,
Bright
okay.
hurts my eyes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to find. When we're out,
Awesome.
we can take a look around. I'm sure there's some around.
Cool, thank you. And then he goes back to eating.
Shoveling food under his mask.
Oh yeah, no, he's full on doing the whole
I obviously think everything about that conversation was strange, but I don't say anything.
So you know he's got like
Huh.
yeah, like purplish black chin, like
Oh yeah, you might have seen that under that because
yeah.
I would be thinking about other people. I probably have
Wouldn't have even
forgotten,
thought about a person
like-
sitting at your table. Yeah,
Yeah, I would have forgotten that there's someone at the table that doesn't know what I am.
exactly
yet.
what I was thinking. The scene was. But yeah, what's the plan when you start heading out? You're just gonna start trekking towards Jodenskuger?
Is Corpse Flower in the tavern, right?
No, but he's probably around. He's kind of a town guard,
Right.
just
okay.
not really part of the guard. If that
I
makes
was
sense.
just gonna buy him a drink if he was in the tavern.
Nah.
But nah.
You could always buy one like for him when
In
he gets here.
retainer and
Put it in
just
his tab.
yeah. Well, no, like I'm gonna buy one for him when
he shows up.
That's what I mean, like pay it towards
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
pay it towards his tab, basically. Yeah.
Fair. That's
So-
like a couple of copper,
Yeah. Cool.
some piece of water. And then you're gonna start trekking out.
If we're
I'm
not
sorry.
doing anything else.
Awesome. I assume that the navigator for this is going to be Tobias. So
And I'm gonna
Tobias,
give him that map that I made.
get
very-
the old survival with advantage because he made a map from a bird's eye perspective, which
That's
is actually
awesome.
real useful. Okay,
You didn't need it.
and you start traveling. You start leaving the town, and instead of going towards the sort of sparse foresty area, you're kind of going around that. You're kind of more traveling in what most people call the frozen wastes in the frozen lands. It's just snow. After a while, the horizon becomes nothing but white, and the mountains in the background that are sort of misty and things. And after a day of travel, Slate Cove is far behind you. You're going to travel for several more days before you get to Jodenskuger. And before you get there, we're going to take a quick break. Smooth